This is your call to action. This is your call to arms. We've been talking for some time about protecting your energy, defending your peace of mind so that you can stay on track. But what if it's time for you to not just be on defense, but for you to go on offense? This is it. This is your time to claim your piece of the pie. I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield, founder of strategicmeditation.com, and this is your business energy flow forecast. This is meant for you to, before you go into the day, set your mind right. Cast your mindset out to be positive, aligned with success and abundance and your highest vibrations. Let's get into it, because what we're going to be talking about, so that you can set your mind right, bookmark this page, make sure you watch this at the beginning of your day as you're journaling to begin your day. We're going to be talking about claiming your piece of the pie, taking an active role and being influential, going on the offensive, going and securing the bag, closing the sale, taking it to the end zone, and getting the goal. This is about you taking an active role in your life and business. Let's go, okay? So how we're going to approach this, again, is all about staying on track. And how we approach this is we're beginning with the problem that we face of always being in the defensive role, right? That this is the problem that we're talking about today, of what could stop you from staying on track. Today, just for today, as we say in Reiki, we're looking at you only always being on the defensive and not knowing how to go on the offensive. Like maybe you just need some encouragement as well as some techniques, right? And so we're going to get the encouragement and techniques from history. What's the story? We're looking at stories coming from Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which has been our ongoing book study as always. And also we're going to get the tactics and strategies from science and current events. And we've been doing a multi-episode, multi-week journey with AI, advancements in AI, and going through articles on that. And last but not least, of course, we're going to turn to spirit, as always, for the final word and the action step of the day. You ready? Let's do it. So right out the gate, my spirit guides are telling me to tell you that it's your time to go on the offensive. It's your time to be the influencer. It's time for you to take charge. It's time for you to take control and take an active role. Maybe you've been sitting back for a little while, gathering your resources, licking your wounds even, and getting over, healing, etc. And it's been taking up a lot of your energy. But today in particular is time for you to take a risk. No longer being risk averse. It's time for you to step out. Get out of your comfort zone. Be the inviting person. Don't wait for the invitation. You are going to make the invitation. It's time for you to ask so that it is given. It's time for you to ask so that it is given. You are the initiator. You are the catalyst. You are Prince Charming. Prince Charming's not coming. You're it, baby. Regardless of your gender performance or your sex. Doesn't matter. You're Prince Charming today. You're the knight in shining armor riding the white horse. Take up your sword and shield. Let's go. Okay? That's the message right out the gate from Spirit. But let's hear it. Let's hear it from Napoleon Hill. What stories from history does he have to inspire and educate us about claiming your piece of the pie, exactly how. And our chapter study today is again coming from chapter 11 of Think and Grow Rich, which is the chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation. Yes. So with that, this is what we have for today's quote from Think and Grow Rich. Listen in. The storehouse of personal magnetism. A teacher who has trained and directed the efforts of more than 30,000 salespeople made the astounding discovery that highly sexed people are the most efficient salespeople. The explanation is that the factor of personality known as personal magnetism is nothing more nor less than sex energy. Highly sexed people always have a plentiful supply of magnetism. Through cultivation and understanding, this vital force may be drawn upon and used to great advantage in the relationships between people. This energy may be communicated to others through the following media. 1. The handshake. The touch of the hand indicates instantly the presence of magnetism or the lack of it. Number 2, tone of voice. Magnetism or sex energy is the factor with which the voice may be colored or made musical and charming. 3, posture and carriage of the body. Highly sexed people move briskly and with grace and ease. Number 4, the vibrations of thought. Highly sexed people mix the emotion of sex with their thoughts, or may do so at will, and in that way may influence those around them. And number 5, body adornment. People who are highly sexed are usually very careful about their personal appearance. They usually select clothing of a style becoming to their personality, their physique, complexion, etc. When employing salespeople, the more capable sales manager looks for the quality of personal magnetism as the first requirement of a salesperson. People who lack sex energy will never become enthusiastic, nor inspire others with enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is one of the most important requisites in salesmanship, no matter what one is selling. The public speaker, orator, preacher, lawyer, or salesperson who is lacking in sex energy is a flop. As far as being able to influence others is concerned. Couple this with the fact that most people can be influenced only through an appeal to their emotions, and you will understand the importance of sex energy as a part of the salesperson's native ability. Master salespeople attain the status of mastery in selling because they either consciously or unconsciously transmute the energy of sex into sales enthusiasm. In this very statement, may be found a very practical suggestion as to the actual meaning of sex transmutation. Okay. Relating this back to claiming your piece of the pie, going on the offensive, taking the initiative. So he gave us five ways in particular that we influence others and transfer our enthusiasm. So when he's talking about sex energy, he's not just talking about the sexual act or sexual intercourse necessarily. He's talking about desire and enthusiasm and arousal and attention and influence. That's what he's talking about. Salespeople influence people. Sales done well is just a transfer of enthusiasm, right? We help people find what they're looking for. An excellent salesperson can turn it on. They turn you on about this like cutlery set. Like, oh my God, this is the sexiest knife. The what? Sexiest knife? Flipping through Facebook or Instagram. Look at that ad. Oh my God, the comments are so like they did so good. It's like that is the sexiest. The what? The what? Ad? Can copywriting be sexy? The reason why it's sexy is not because there's sexual intercourse going on. Come on, open your brain. What we're really talking about is enthusiasm, things done well, the transfer of excitement and energy to arouse and incite and awaken energy and motivate action. Influence is what we're talking about. And he said 5 different ways that we influence people naturally. Let me go back through them again. Your handshake, your tone of voice, your posture, how you think, and how you adorn your body, okay? So when you go today to shake somebody's hand, okay. I just creeped myself out. Have you ever like shook somebody's hand just like a wet noodle? Just like, like whatever. I don't know how I was raised is you go, you like shake it, like you let them know that you're there, right? Transfer the energy, the enthusiasm, and how you shake someone's hand. Whereas if it's just like a kind of like a wet noodle handshake, or the person's hand is slimy. I don't want it. Okay, I understand that you're nervous, but clammy, slimy. Bleh. Or if you look at their hands and they're not very attractive, I'm like, I don't want to look your crusty finger. I don't want that. I don't want to shake them ashy hands. Oh my God, put some lotion with your cracked like cuticles. It makes me feel dry. Like I'm dehydrated looking at your hands. Like, hello? The handshake is a transfer of enthusiasm. Your hands influence people. Your hands influence people? Yeah. Touch is one of the 5 love languages. Hello. Okay. So there's that tone of voice. So that's why if you've ever had the experience of learning about how to answer the phone in customer service, right? Or if your parents raised you right that said smile when you're on the other end of the phone rather than frown when you are on the other end of the phone. Your tone of voice influences others. These are not just defense, they are offensive moves because you're being of influence. Tone of voice. We get, come here. Posture. How you meet the world. Are your shoulders back, heart chakra open and broadcasting, solar plexus open and broadcasting? We are open for love. We are open for business. This body, this person, this corporation is open for business and confident, right? How do you, or are you, because you've been at the computer all day or on your cell phone all day, you're like a hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, be kind to yourself. Posture is how you influence people. Even though, shout out to my sisters who are endowed. We tend to hide, and cover up the endowment, like I should be ashamed, versus you actually, even if you are full-breasted, you look more attractive when you stand with pride in the girls. You don't look more confident when you stand with shame for the girls. You look more confident. You have more influence and presence when you allow the girls to take up all the space that they do. And you know what? Praise God that they do. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Yes? Right? Stand with pride. Don't stand like you're on a cell phone, crunched down into hunchback mode. Vibrations of thought. So what he means here is that when you talk and there's an untundra, like or a moment that's a spicy moment, you let that spice be without any shame. The way that you talk, like as if you have a twinkle in your eye, like a sexy little twinkle. I'm like, yeah, that was a little crazy, you know, like that was hot, that was hot, that was fire, that was racy, and I don't care. That flirty energy, it increases, it brings influence. The fact that you are seduced by what you are thinking, even though they don't know what the hell you're referring to. The fact that you're just flirting with yourself, thinking about the things make you magnetic, make the other person's things start coming to mind as well. Why are we both like glittering and shimmering with energy? What's that about? What are you thinking? I don't know. What are you thinking? Suddenly, if you are the one who is holding the exciting thought first and continuing to radiate that, even during, like, I dare you. I do this on Zoom all the time. Shout out to you if you are in the same Zoom rooms that I am and you're like, oh God, there goes Victoria. Because as soon as I come on camera, I'm thinking things that, let me stop thinking things for a moment. Watch how my face changes. I'm paying attention, but, you know, this is a Zoom face, and people look like dead fish, like dead fish on Zoom, okay? Versus paying attention on Zoom, enjoying things going on in your mind. Vibrations of thought are just vibrating everywhere. The way that you look when you're paying attention changes completely if you change how you are holding your mind at rest. If you are at rest, greeting the world with arousal, everyone around you gets turned on. How interesting. And then finally, body adornment. Now, I'm like adorned to the max right now because I'm creative. I can't help it. So, but at the same time, you caring and about what you're wearing is visually influential over others. And the fact that you are wearing things that turn you on is empowering for you. But you're caring about what you're wearing because it's an expression about what you care about, not about what they care about. Do you understand the difference? Right? It's not about having all the name brands in the world or something like that, but the fact that you cared about putting yourself together is influential over you first because it's an expression for you. But the fact that you took the time to put yourself together for you actually conveys confidence and energy to others. Okay, so that's what Napoleon Hill has to say about claiming your piece of the pie. How to be influential. 5 ways already, but all right. Let's get into it. You know, when I was reading this article from Psychiatric Times on AI, it was like, okay, prepare for your mind to be blown. By the way, has your mind already been blown? Comment below, right? What are you writing in your notes? I want to hear it. So on how to claim your piece of the pie, for you to take an active role. We're going to actually approach this with AI of looking at how they program AI to be influential. And we're going to take from that so that we can program ourselves to be influential. Here we go. The title of this article is Attention to Attention is What You Need. Artificial Intelligence in Medicine. So again, all of the articles and their links, by the way, are in the description of this video if it turns you on. Okay. Here's how medical practitioners and researchers can influence AI reasoning and influence in the future of AI development and deployment. Much of the machine learning model is based on teaching the machine how to learn and reason, drawing from a number of mathematical models. In order to understand the underlying AI technology, it's helpful to take a closer look at how AI models are structured. So what if I was an AI model? How could I be structured for success? Machine learning models, recurrence and convolution transformers. Recurrence and convolution transformers are two important concepts in AI that have been widely used in machine learning models. Recurrence helps models remember what happened before, recurrence, whereas convolutions finds important patterns in data, and transformers focus on understanding relationships between different parts of the input. Recurrence. Think of recurrence as a memory that helps a model remember information from previous steps. It's useful when dealing with things that happen in a specific order over time. For example, if you are predicting the next word in a sentence, recurrence helps the model understand the words that came before it. It is like connecting the dots by looking at what happened before to make sense of what comes next. Pause. I'm going to come back to reading this. So, applying recurrence in AI, machine learning, to us, how we can claim our piece of the pie. One way to be very influential as a speaker and not flop, like Napoleon Hill beautifully told us, is speaking in a way where people are recognizing what you said because you said it somewhere before or they heard it somewhere before. How I do recurrence, for example, is what matters most is my people, if they've ever listened to me, they know how to finish that sentence. What matters most is how you feel. That is recurrence. That's what just happened. You're like, oh, whoa, whoa, she's saying it again. And recurrence is interesting because the listener thinks you know what I'm about to say. And so that causes influence and connection, right? Use more recurrence in the way that you speak to be influential. So that's takeaway number 1 from AI. Unpause. Convolution. Convolution is like a filter that helps the model find important patterns in data. It is commonly used for tasks involving images or grids of data. Just like our brain focuses on specific parts of an image to understand it, convolution helps the model focus on important details. It looks for features like edges, shapes, and textures, allowing the model to recognize objects or understand the structure of the data. Pause. Convolution. So whereas the first one is, okay, repeat what you're going to say, right? Recurrence. Convolution is repeat the image representation of the point. So if I say what matters most is how you feel, right? That's the mantra. Convolution in this sense would be my hat. Hashtag visionary. That, in a word, is what it's all about. There are no other words in our environment right now. Your number one focus, your recurring reminder that there's merch available is the fact that I am visually wearing a hat that represents the merch store, but also represents my message and who I am being and who you are being invited to be. Hashtag visionary. This is convolution, the visual anchor of the idea. For you to be more influential, have a visual anchor of the point that you're trying to make, of the thing that you are trying to sell, or the idea that you are trying to get people to remember and buy into. Visual is convolution. Unpause. All right. The last one, transformers. Transformers are like smart attention machines. They excel in understanding relationships between different parts of a sentence or data without needing to process them in order. They can find connections between words that are far apart from each other. Transformers are especially powerful in tasks like language translation, where understanding the context of each word is crucial. They work by paying attention to different words and weighing their importance based on their relationships. Pause. Transformers. So we're breaking down different aspects of AI and machine learning and applying it to us so that you can claim, right, your piece of the pie. The transformer for us, therefore, would be the application. So if you want to have more influence over people and claim your piece of the pie and close the sale, secure the bag, if you want to have more influence, you have to transform what you are saying into something that they care about. Make it relevant to their situation. This is the application, right? Where you take what you're talking about, rather than just teaching, but instead you stop teaching and you make an application. You engage the people who you are talking to, and you make it relevant to them and their situation, right? What I'm doing right now is I'm transforming all of this data I'm inputting into you about blah, 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 AI, blah, blah, blah. I'm transforming this blah, blah, blah into transformational knowledge so that you can be an influential person, an influential entrepreneur who goes out there and claims their piece of the pie. I am making an application of the teaching. I'm not just reading and blah, blah, blahing at you. I'm telling you how this applies to you in your unique situation, right? So this is the third way from AI how to be influential. Recapping, recurrence, repeat what you said so that it's a more call and response, so that people kind of predict and know what you're about to say. Repetition is the mother of all skill. Convolution, have a physical representation, right, of the point, so that people, as they're looking at you, they get the point of like, oh, go to the merch store. Oh, what we're talking about is being visionary, right? And then transformers, make sure that you transform all of your blah, 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 your story, your awesome teaching, transform it into something relevant to the people that you're talking to. Make sure it's applied to their unique situation and you will influence them. Okay, last but not least, unpause. How transformers become so impactful. A landmark 2017 paper on AI titled "Attention is All You Need" by Vaswani and colleagues laid important work in understanding the transformer model. Unlike recurrence and convolution, the transformer model relies heavily on the self-attention mechanism. Write that down. Put it in the comments. Self-attention mechanism. Self-attention allows the model to focus on different parts of the input sequence during processing, enabling it to capture long-range dependencies effectively. Attention mechanisms allow the model to model dependencies between input and output sequences without considering their distance. This allows the machine incredible advanced capabilities, especially when powered with advanced computing power. Okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? Self-attention mechanism. So that your ability to transform your blah, blah, blah into relevant to that person is based off of your self-attention. Are you paying attention to yourself as you're speaking and presenting, as you're showing up? Are you paying attention to how you're showing up are you assessing if you're being influential? Are you assessing if you're being transformational? Number one. But also, this is the dependency between self-attention mechanisms within each model. Like, I'm a model, you're a model. Okay, so if I'm being aware of myself to make sure that I'm making this relevant to you, and I decide to make this relevant to you, all of a sudden your self-attention mechanism turns on as well. Of like, oh snap, this went from I'm picking my nose and I'm just like not at all paying attention to this podcast to holy crap, this lecture is about me. It's like Victoria is speaking to me, about me through the camera. I have got my self-attention mechanism on all of a sudden. And that creates long-range dependencies. What does that mean? In short, a relationship, a symbiotic relationship evolves because we understand each other and we are making our lives and the information, the wisdom that we are exchanging, the experiences that we are exchanging relevant to each other. Long-range dependency is relationship, interdependence, a symbiotic relationship is what happens when we use the transformer. That's why the transformer of making things relevant, our data relevant to others, is so impactful. Is your mind blown? My mind is like, right? This is how you go claim your piece of the pie. Go get it. All right. That's what science has to say. I know I'm going long, but it takes some time to break down that concept. Let me know if this is making sense in the comments below, if you have any questions. But we're going to end off with spirit. The tarot card of the week is the Knight of Fire. The Knight of Fire coming as a challenger. So we're resisting being the Knight of Fire. And it says, a significant situation requires your immediate and full attention. While time is of the essence, it's important to avoid making rash decisions. Enthusiasm and self-assuredness are wonderful so long as they aren't separated from wisdom and caution. People, a person who's passionate about anything he or she takes on. You are resisting, and yet you are a take charge individual who moves quickly with confidence and certainty on behalf of loved ones or beloved causes. Fearless, loyal, charismatic, self-assured, adventurous, restless, possibly impatient or insistent when it comes to having his or her own way. This is where we're going to leave off. You are being called to be the knight of fire, and this is your reminder to be the knight of fire in your life and business. Passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and even restless in the advocacy for beloveds and beloved causes, right? Go get them. This is your reminder to be the knight of fire. You are the knight in shining armor. There is no Prince Charming. You are Prince Charming, as we said at the opening of this message, okay? So with that, the action step of the day, which meditation are we doing? Where are we going now? So go ahead and open up your school app on your phone or bring it up on your desktop, right? So that I believe is school.com/be visionary movement, right? If you're just typing it on desktop. And you're going to go to the Vault of Visualizations under the Physical Healing Meditations folder. And you're going to do Divine Throne Golden Healing Meditation. It's just under 15 minutes. So that's what you're going to do next again. And you can type it in the search bar at the top of the screen, Divine Throne Golden Healing Meditation. So when you do your strategic meditation now for the day, so that you set your energy right for the day, you're going to sit on your divine throne, sit in your power, and claim your piece of the pie. So I'm sending you so much love. Make sure that you hit the share button. Who needs to hear this message today? Who needs to go out and get it and know exactly how to go out and get it? Go on the offensive, right? Be influential and be visionary. By the way, shout out to those of you who support the mission, support the channel with merchandise purchases. Merchandising, yeah. So, I'm sending you so much love. And remember, you do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.